13 underrated PlayStation 2 action games that every gamer must play. Sony's PS2 was one of the most popular gaming consoles back in the day, and for good reason. While it wasn't as affordable as the NES, nor provided a unique online console gaming infrastructure like Microsoft's Xbox, it still managed to be the bestseller with over 155 million units sold worldwide. It had very impressive graphics on offer and was easy to handle, and turned out to revolutionize gaming with almost 13 years of production. The strategy was smart, with Sony offering a free DVD drive that prompted gamers to buy the PS2 for the added bonus. The pricing wasn't exorbitant, and the users gave this a clear edge over the competitors like Microsoft's original Xbox or Sega's Dreamcast. PS2 was home to some amazing classics, but there are some action games that somewhat went under the radar. In this video, we will talk about these underrated PS2 action games that could give the best in the business a run for their money. Cold Fear, developed by Darkworks and published by Ubisoft. A team of Coast Guard personnel, including veteran Tom Hansen, board a seemingly abandoned Russian vessel lost in the storm. However, they are unaware that a CIA team tried to do the same and ended up dead. Pretty soon, the Coast Guard team suffers the same fate, with only Tom Hansen managing to survive. It is now up to him to discover the horrors of the ship that killed his partners and look for survivors. This third-person shooter game is going to give you the feeling that you are watching a thrilling movie. In fact, there was talk of a movie coming out following the game, but the project never materialized. The plot has an interesting way of unraveling before the player, as you would discover the truth about the ship from searching log files and letters. The creepy atmosphere is nicely built up and sustained, which offers a chilling experience. Although there is only one boss fight, it is pretty hardcore to satisfy the action lovers. There are some convenient weapons to choose from, such as the AK-47, shotgun. However, ammo is limited, and you could use only as many as the weapons can fit. You can also make use of the explosive barrels and steam valves to your advantage. There are some gory moments with blood and violence that will keep you on your toes. The graphics are top-notch, and the sight of the strange creatures is pretty terrifying. With so many upsides, we just have one complaint regarding the game, which is the somewhat dull ending. This is still a great game for horror and action fans. We just have one tiny suggestion for this game: play during the night for the best effects. Jet Li: Rise to Honor, developed and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. An undercover cop in Hong Kong serves as the bodyguard to Boss Chiang, who happens to be a friend of his father. When Boss Chiang decides to leave the life of crime, some people aren't too happy with this decision, and numerous assassination attempts follow. Despite the best efforts from Kit, a mysterious sniper takes out Boss Chiang. During his dying moments, he instructs Kit to deliver an envelope to his daughter. Now, Kit must do the needful no matter what obstacles come in his way. Have you watched and admired the martial arts legend Jet Li? Well, in case you have, this game is a treat for you. Even if you haven't, you would be impressed with the remarkable action-packed gameplay on offer. It has a gripping plot that will hold your attention and uses many references to various Jet Li movie roles. It is a bit challenging to get a hang of the controls, but once you manage to do so, the game becomes very addictive. This fast-paced game has a wonderful sound effect, especially when Jet Li is fighting. The graphics are just like in his movies. That will be another good thing for the fans. There is a lot of fighting, and some of your challenges are a bit tougher than others to perfect. This game serves as the perfect tribute to one of the greatest martial arts fighters, and we are confident that you would have a gala time playing it. Contra: Shattered Soldier, developed and published by Konami. The plot is premised in a futuristic world where several environmental problems have grown beyond control. A malfunctioning hypermagnetic weapons grid devastated over 80% of the population, and Bill Reiser is held responsible. He is accused of murdering his partner Lance as well and is sent to cryogenic prison for 10,000 years. However, his sentence is cut short when a terrorist organization led by a strange superhuman commander spreads panic. Bill is called upon to be the protector once again, and soon he finds out that the commander is none other than Lance, who never died. He is helped by Lucia, a cyborg soldier, as he confronts the dreaded enemies. This run-and-gun game is played in 2D form, with side-view perspectives that offer an interesting gaming experience. True to the predecessors in the series, the plot is concrete yet again, which makes it exciting to move ahead in the game to find out more. There are multiple endings to the game that depend on your performance and not your course of action. The gameplay is known for being extremely difficult, which takes some time to get used to. The concept of hit rate also influences the ending you get. As with a high hit rate, you could have better endings. The game offers a new weapon system where there are 3 types of weapons with 3 special shots. The automatic machine gun and flamethrower are your primary weapons that can also be modified for launching more powerful attacks. Our personal favorite is the round sweeper that sprays bullets in all directions. This game will go on to test your gaming skills to the core. Freedom Fighters, developed by IO Interactive, published by IO Interactive and EA. This game involves a fictional invasion of the US by the Russian forces. As the country was run down by the Red Army, a plumber named Christopher Stone offered some resistance. He led guerrilla warfare alongside others to rattle the Supreme Red Machine. Armed with a choices of assault rifles and Molotovs, and using his strategies, he has to complete one mission after another, from infiltrating enemy bases to sabotaging supplies for the Russian army. This game was developed by the same IO Interactive that made the popular game Hitman. PS2 owners were treated to a brilliant squad-based shooter game that allowed a variety of missions. The backdrop of an occupied New York seems interesting, and the gamer can almost feel like part of the setup, disrupting the invading army. As you finish each mission, you have more charisma that will prompt more people to follow you. The best part about the game is that you can instruct these allies to defend, attack, or simply to follow you. This gives the gamers a commander feeling. Nothing is more fun than ordering the allies to take out targets while you slay the baddies with a cool sniper rifle. Your actions in one mission would determine the course of another, and this decision-based gaming was another exciting feature of this game. The only possible issue with this stunner is that the lack of blood or gore makes the combat appear cartoonish at times. But with the gorgeous graphics and feel of realism, this is a game that is a must-try for all the gamers out there. The Thing, developed by Computer Artworks and published by Black Label Games, UI, and Konami. Remember the movie The Thing? After almost 20 years, when people were least expecting it, a video game was launched that serves somewhat as a prequel to the film. The plot shows a team of US soldiers who were investigating Outpost 31 and then moving on to inspect the other facilities. It becomes clear to them that there has been an alien invasion and they have to move through the various missions battling alien beasts. You will be playing as Blake, who can get together the survivors and make them his allies. These allies had various skill sets, such as engineers, medics, and soldiers, and you could use their services as per your requirements. We love how this game plays with your mind, and there is an air of mistrust all throughout the game as to who is infected. If one of the allies gets infected, Blake has to find another to fit the bill. This team-based adventure has the use of some fancy weapons which vary from cool guns to flamethrowers. You could use these effectively to eliminate the dreadful aliens. After moving through various levels, you will finally reach the alien mothership, and Blake has to take on the mighty alien for the final showdown. Psyops, the Mind Gate Conspiracy, developed and published by Midway Games. Nick is a prisoner with altered memories and suppressed psychic abilities, who is sent to take on a dreaded terrorist organization. In the course of the mission, he learns more about the former operatives and secrets that previously eluded him. He also starts regaining his suppressed powers that help in taking down his enemies. Similarities are bound to be drawn between this game and Second Sight, but there is a glaring difference as well. While Second Sight requires more patience as it takes you through the psychic adventure, Psyops is more trigger-happy, complete with deeper characters and an engaging plot. Even the selection of psychic powers is impressive here, and you would be drawn to the fun combat sequences. The telekinesis is particularly satisfying for the gamer, where you can literally pick up your enemies and toss them aside. Other powers include remote viewing, mind control, and mind drain. This exciting third-person shooter game could have been a much bigger hit, but somehow the game lost its steam amidst all the others. The graphics are pretty decent, but not as good as in the movies. It is still a very impressive shooting game with some gory moments to stir the adrenaline rush. If you are keen to rediscover such lost gems, we strongly recommend you try this game out. Gungrave, developed by Red Entertainment and Akusaboon Incorporated. Brandon Heat, also known as Beyond the Grave, was betrayed and killed by Harry McDowell. Dr. T revived him into a murderous killer without a soul. He gets his hands on a coffin full of armaments and sets off to end the syndicate and his killer for good. They say revenge is often a good inspiration. Can Grave succeed in his mission? A game where the protagonist carries a large coffin full of weapons on his back is bound to be badass, and Gungrave is no exception. This third-person shooter game has some exciting designs to appeal to the gamers, and even the characters stand out among the others. For an anime game, this is pretty impressive, with a concrete storyline. Gungrave has pleasing visual effects that combine traditional anime with CGI and cel shading. Every scene appears convincing and adds to the appeal of the game. The way you can make Grave use his wide array of weapons promises some intense arcade action. The only possible problem with this game was that it was a bit too short and sometimes got a bit monotonous. However, you can choose to ignore this flaw with so many multiple endings on offer. This hampered the popularity of Gungrave, and most PS2 owners probably didn't even know about the existence of this amazing game. Killswitch, developed by Visual Impact and Namco. A soldier named Nick Bishop is being remotely controlled by some operator, but as he goes through missions, he has certain flashbacks that bring back some of his lost memories. He soon finds out that he has been subjected to some heinous controversies, and now he is determined to get justice for himself. This might seem like a relatively unknown game, but this third-person shooter has influenced some of the classics later on. For instance, the makers of Gears of War set on record that Killswitch influenced the series to flourish. This pioneering game was pretty simplistic and lacked the fancy polish to appeal to the masses. However, it had very usable controls and a cover system that made it a wonderful game to play. The combat facilities are pretty impressive, and the gamer will love the twists along the way. The guns and grenades make for a fun arsenal from which you can choose at will. There are some bugs with the sound in the game, and while firing several rounds at the same time, you will find the sound cutting off. While the graphics are stunning, the lighting could have been better. Overall, Killswitch is going to appeal to those who aren't looking to rush in for some mindless trigger-happy action. Godhand powers to fight the demons. The magical arm becomes a part of him as he takes on all kinds of villains and demons and some out-of-the-world combat moves. There are two kinds of gamers who have played Godhand. The first kind loves the crazy combat moves and a somewhat quirky presentation, while others never get along with the experience. Either way, we have to say that it has some intriguing moments in the gameplay. This is a 3D action game where you have to move in all directions, attacking enemies with special moves. You have over 100 moves to choose from that include everything from basic jabs to stylized martial arts. There are some entertaining moments in the game, such as when you send your opponents flying into the stratosphere. As you progress into advanced levels, the enemy's combat abilities increase drastically. It also must be said that the difficulty level for this game is rather high, and it is clearly aimed at skilled gamers. It might have been a commercial failure, but it is a game worth checking out if you are up for the challenges.
Wanker! That's all you'll ever be too!
Beatdown, Fists of Vengeance, developed by a family led by Zanetti. You have to play strategically, robbing, recruiting, and taking down gang members. At the same time, you must defend yourself and be incognito so that Zanetti's men don't identify you. Are you up for the challenge? The action-packed RPG allows you great freedom to take control of the course of the game. You must earn respect by fighting your enemies and slowly gaining control of the city. In order to take on your enemies, you have various combat options where you can indulge in hand-to-hand fights or grab some convenient weapons. The aspect of disguising yourself is fun to execute, and you can use plastic surgery or buy different clothes to bluff the rival gangsters and police. The gamer must be careful so that the protagonist doesn't get too many visible bruises. The no-holds-barred street fighting action with a hint of revenge is a thrilling prospect for any gamer. You will be judged on the basis of your leadership, charisma, and cash flow, and the performance will determine the climax that you receive. We love the Godfather theme on this one and the twisted plot that throws in surprises every now and then. Blood Will Tell, developed by Sega, Red Entertainment, and published by Sega and Tezuka Productions. This game was based on the manga Dororo and had a crazy premise to draw your attention. You have to play as Hyakimaru, a man whose father made a deal with the demon and gave away his major body parts and organs. After the father abandoned him, he was raised by Jukai, who even provided for his artificial body parts and prosthetics that helped to put him together. Now, Hyakimaru is on a mission to kill the 48 fiends who were involved in taking his body parts. In this mission, he is helped by a thief named Dororo as he faces off with one enemy after another. It is pretty exciting to go on seeking out the fiends. The ruthless Hyakimaru, with twin blades concealed in his arms and a deadly katana, is as badass as a protagonist gets. He even has an arm-mounted machine gun and a bazooka attached to his legs. Could the weapons be any cooler? You have the chance to upgrade his abilities and use his crazy moves to take down some mighty enemies. The game does remind you of Devil May Cry, but this one has more complicated open areas and the stealthy gameplay demands strategy. The boss battles are a throwback to the classic old-school action games where it is all about the timing and getting used to the attack patterns of the boss. The game progresses, you get back to some of your body parts that offer new abilities that are fun to try out. Some people complain that the game is a bit too long, but for the true gamers, that is the best part. If fighting games interest you, this one will be worth digging into. Extermination, developed and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. An elite military team is sent to an Antarctic research facility that had strangely gone dark and quiet. Upon arrival, the team discovers the presence of some strange deadly creatures that seem to have ruined the facility. There are a few survivors, but the team must first deal with the ruthless creatures and plan a way out from there. This was one of those games that exhibited the true prowess of the PS2. Focus of the gameplay is more on running rather than fighting, and that provides the perfect survival horror experience. You do not have enough ammo, so at every step, you must carefully conserve it. The player must also be careful regarding his exposure to the enemies, as that could lead him to being infected. As you explore the game, you will discover some stunning modifications that will change your experience. For instance, you could fully customize your weapons and enjoy some environmental puzzles along the way. While everything else is so awesome about this game, the voice acting leaves a lot to be desired and sometimes seems hilarious with the terrible lip syncing. You might have played classics in this genre, such as Resident Evil or Parasite Eve, but Extermination II deserves a chance to prove its worth. The Mark of Kree, developed and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. A powerful warrior named Rao Utu is focused on some local missions. He deals with thugs and local bandits until one day he accepts a mission. It seems simple on the face, but soon he realized that he had been drawn into a much bigger quest. Can Rao Utu face the challenges and come out victorious? Well, it depends on how well you can play as him. Do not be fooled by the Pixar-like aesthetics in this game, as there are some gruesome, violent moments in the gameplay. This stealth adventure game was popular for the remarkable gaming experience and some unique controls. For instance, you could use both analog sticks to move around and aim. Clever use of the bird Kuzo to scout the region and then take down the enemies was fun and addictive. He had a bow that he could tactically use on his enemies, and his special abilities were handy to complete the objectives. This game had high production values, as is evident from the top-notch graphics and flawless gameplay. Hand-drawn animation of the cutscenes with a gory violence stands out as very amusing. You would get involved with the characters in this game, and we strongly recommend this game for those who can patiently unravel the levels one by one.